Hello everyone, welcome back to A Couple Books. This is Couple as always, and don't worry today, there's no imposter. It is truly moi.
Guys, it's the imposter. He got me.
And today we are doing the last tag video. As you guys know, I've been doing tag videos for like the last week. The reason is that I got all these tags and then I finally figured out who had tagged me and what. And so I just wanted to get out and get all those tag videos out of the way. I love doing them and they're so much fun to do, and so keep them coming, keep tagging me in videos. But I just wanted to round out this week. You done, Nova? Nova's not with us today, guys. With that out of the way, I've been wanting to do these videos for a while now, so I'm glad I got tagged because it gave me the incentive to get them done. And so here we are now, we're getting them done, and it's been so much fun filming these, and I just really enjoyed them. So keep those tags coming, like I said before. Just a massive thank you to John from Hey Yall Listen Up, and Lady Jane from Lady Jane Books, who both tagged me in this, because today we're doing the bookshelf book tag, and I've been wanting to do this tag for a while, so I'm super thankful to both of y'all for tagging me. And so now I have an excuse to do this video, and that's super fun. And let's get going. So this tag has 13 questions, I do believe. So we're just gonna go through them one by one, and here we go. Boom. First question. How many bookshelves do you have? Well, as you guys, I don't know if you guys can see, but I have 1, 2, 3 bookshelves. 3 you can't really see, but I've got 3 bookshelves. They're hanging bookshelves. I love them very much. They're my babies. Number 2, how many books do you have, or how many books do you think you have? So for this question, I kind of did a little peruse. I have around 400 books, I do believe. Of course, that's a very rough estimate, so I could have way more or way less. I'm erring on the side of less, but I have around 400. That's my suspected number. It's hard to count because there's so many like piles, and then there's countless books, dozens that are out there in the wind in people's hands. So it's kind of unknown, but I'm guessing around 400. Number 3, how do you organize your bookshelves? Well, if you guys can see, so this bookshelf right here, this is mostly fantasy, pretty much all fantasy. And I organize it by, when I first started organizing my shelves, I wanted to do it by favorite author. So that's kind of how I did it. I started with Joe Abercrombie, and I worked through Michael J. Sullivan, Jim Butcher, Kevin Hearn, and so on and so forth. And so that keeps going all the way down to Terry Brooks. And then for some weird reason, right here, I delved into some historical fiction. So don't ask me why that's the case, but that just is what happened over there. Up here, we have our mysteries and horrors, which kind of go all the way up to here. And then here are my mass market paperbacks, which are a mixture of things, but mostly fantasy. And then we go back into fantasy, and here we have like Lee Bardugo, we have Ken Liu, N.K. Jemisin, like we've got a few authors up here. And then it goes all the way back around over to here, where we're into some more YA stuff. We also have my Ben Aronovich series. We have Lev Grossman up there. We got a few other guys up there. So that is pretty much it. And then on the top shelf, which is the one you guys don't really see at all, that is almost all my scripture stuff. So I'm assuming that's probably not as much interest to you guys. So yeah, so these 2 primary bookshelves are pretty much mostly fantasy, some horror, some sci-fi. In terms of like how it's organized, it's kind of just in my brain where I put a book. I don't really have an organization technique exactly, just because, I don't know, I just kind of fit it where I want it to go, and then it just kind of builds from there. I do group it by authors, but that's pretty much all I do. Number 4, what is the oldest book on your bookshelf? Alright, so in terms of my oldest book on my bookshelf, I actually have this book, Animal Farm by George Orwell. This is one of my favorites, and this was actually given to me by a friend, and I never gave it back to them, back in like high school or something like that. And this book is somewhere in the 1950s, so this is a 70-year-old book. So that is probably my oldest book that I have in terms of like my my popular books, like in terms of like my fantasy, sci-fi, historical fiction, those classics. This is probably my oldest one. In terms of like my scriptures, I have books that go like into the like early 1900s. So I probably have like a 100-year-old book or two up there, but in terms of like down here, I have the Animal Farm. All right, the next question is, what is the newest book on your bookshelf? Well, it's kind of a hard question to answer because I don't really know, to be honest with you. Like, I think I might have books. The one I have in my hand is one I'm going to show you, but I might have books that are earlier than this, but I don't really know without like doing some intense investigating. So I'm guesstimating it's Dune, the special edition, since this came out recently. So if we're talking about in terms of like print, like what is the newest book that has come out, this is it. In terms of like the story itself, of course, it's one of the older books since this is a pretty old story, Dune. But it is probably one of my newest books I have. In terms of like the newest story, I think the Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth Nix, which I would show it to you guys, but it's underneath a massive pile, so I'm not going to. So that is probably like the newest book that I have in terms of like it came out the most recently, is what I'm guesstimating. So apologies for ignorance. Question number 6 is, what is the longest book on your bookshelf? Well, I think that's probably going to be Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. This book, I think, is my biggest one, and it totals at somewhere in the 1,100 pages. So that is a little less than 1,100 pages, so that is probably my thickest book. But, you know, I have a few other thick ones. I've got the other Brandon Sanderson books, but I do believe the other two are both shorter than this one. So I do believe I'm correct in saying that this is my longest book on my bookshelf. Question number 7 is, what is the shortest book on your bookshelf? And I think that's going to be, once again, Animal Farm by George Orwell. I think this is my thinnest one because like all my other classics that I have, they're all a little bit thicker than this. So I'm going to have to say that this is probably my thinnest book. Thinnest book. Oh my god, he thinks I'm skinny! I just had to put that in there. Question number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is, what is the predominant genre on your bookshelves? Well, as you guys know, since you guys have been seeing what I've been reviewing, horror is a really new genre for me, so I'm still building my collection with that. But in terms of like what I've been reading for years, it is pretty much predominantly fantasy. So yeah, fantasy, but I do have some sprinkles of other things, but it's predominant. It's like 90% fantasy on these shelves. Number 9, have you done a bookshelf tour? The answer to that question is no, I have not done a bookshelf tour. Why? It's not because I don't want to, it's just because it's kind of a difficult video to film just due to the situation of my apartment and how things are laid out. I do want to do one. I will probably do one after I do my book haul. So I know that's part of this video is showing you the bookshelves, which I will do, but I'll do a proper bookshelf tour once all the books that I've ordered have come in and I've been able to like reorganize my bookshelves after the holidays and I get all those new holiday books up there. So stay tuned for that. Number 10. Yes, 10 people. We're all right. Okay, 10. Number 10 is use a random number generator and basically get a number and then count down. And we're going to count from this side there, this side there. So hopefully it's not too big of a number. And we are going to choose a random book and I'm going to tell you all about it. So we're going to do that random generator now. 4. It was 4. And if you guys think I'm cheating, don't worry. I did it on my computer beforehand. So that's where the number came from. But we're doing number 4. So let's go over there and find out what number 4 is. 1, 2, 3, 4. The number 4 book was The Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie. This is actually a super amazing series. This is part of the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, and it basically is probably one of the most interesting books I've ever read, or most interesting series, not necessarily because of the story, but because of the characters themselves. Joe Abercrombie writes grimdark fiction, fantasy, and he's probably, at the moment, probably one of the best grimdarks out there, or writers out there. I don't want to say he is the best because I haven't read enough in grimdark to know for sure, but he is one of my favorites that I've read so far. This is the trilogy that kind of got me into grimdark. This is the last book in it, of course, so it's kind of difficult to talk about this book specifically without giving spoilers away. So I'm going to kind of revert back to the first book and the general landscape of the series. But basically, this 3-book trilogy follows a man named Logan Ninefingers, follows another man named Glotka, I think is how you pronounce his name, and we follow a few other characters. There's a few other characters throughout. The main point of view characters, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while, is Glotka and Logan Ninefingers. Logan is basically a barbarian. Like, he's from up north, which in this world, up north, people are like barbaric, and they like live in tribes, and they just like drink their victims' blood from their skulls. Like, they're just like complete savages. And then the people down south are like all civilized and pretty and perfect. Of course, we know that's not how it is. These are stereotypes that are in this world. And Logan Nine Fingers was once like the best fighter in the North, and now he's come down for various reasons, which I don't know if they're spoilers or not, so I'm not going to say them. But he comes down to seek out the wizard. There's like this massive wizard out there. This wizard is going to help them. Like, he's extremely powerful, extremely all-knowing, and so Logan Nine Fingers is on his way to meet this wizard. We're introduced to Glotka. Glotka is a torturer who works inside the city, and he is once a super famous soldier, and he has been like badly injured, and so he's got a limp, and his leg is all ruined, and he's just in a lot of pain all the time. And he's like a young guy, like he's not like super old or anything, but because of his injuries, he kind of, like, his actions and how he's described would depict an old man, but he's just like basically this savage man who's working in the city, and he's kind of turned his anger outwards, and he like punishes everyone for how bad he feels on the inside for everything that's gone wrong in his life. And then as well, we have a few other characters. We've got a soldier. We have a soldier who's also part of this series. We have this woman who is part of this series, and she's pretty amazing. There's a lot of characters in this world, but the thing I want to talk about this series is that there's not really an insane, like, clear plot. Like, yes, there are, like, threats and there are, like, looming things that go on in this series, but the reason you're going to read the series is because if you want to hate who you're loving in this series, read this, because these characters are bad people. Like, no one here is good. There's no knight in shining armor. There's no perfect hero. There's no perfect heroine. There's no, like, goody two-shoes, follows the law. There's no lawful good characters or, like, neutral good characters in this series. It is all bad. Like, they're all horrible people, they're all murderers, they're all bad men and women, but you grow to love them because they're so interesting and because they're really drawn out characters, and you really begin to like sympathize, and you're like, is there something wrong with me that I'm sympathizing with this character? I certainly hope not. Anyways, I don't really know what else to say about the series, but it's really, because I'm trying to avoid spoilers and I don't really remember what's what, but it is a fantastic series if you're into grimdark, so I highly recommend picking it up. Alright, number 11 is, do you have fan merch or any other decorations on your bookshelves? Well, I actually do have quite a few decorations on my bookshelves. You guys can't see it clearly, I don't think. Can you guys see it clearly? I don't know. I hope so. But yeah, up there I have like jars that are full of notes from like my university days when I did a mentorship program, and at the end of every year, all the mentees that we had would write little notes to us and put them in a jar, and they're just like really nice, kind words. I have those littered throughout for my 4 years of college. I have random shot glasses that I've collected over my years. I have these pretty cool stones that I've seen. I've got like those Chinese Zen balls. I don't really know how else to describe them. They're like for your chi, I think. I just like have all these little tchotchkes I picked up over the years. And then as well, I have one other thing I want to show you guys. So on my top shelf, I also have a few other things, but you guys can't see them clearly, but I wanted to show you one of them that I think is pretty cool. So the author, like, we all say J.K. Rowling is one of our biggest, like, getting into reading. I would have to agree with that, but J.K. Rowling really got me into Harry Potter and really, like, got me into, like, loving Harry Potter, but she wasn't the author that, like, basically got me into fantasy, I wouldn't say. But one who got me into fantasy was DJ Machel. Machel is an insanely talented writer, in my personal opinion. He was like the first author I like followed up on his stuff, was like the first author outside of J.K. Rowling that I waited for his books to come out the night before. I read his series, the Pendragon series, which you'll see here, and I loved it so much. It was absolutely amazing. And a fellow YouTuber who I will tag down below as well, he did a video where he brought up Pendragon, and I was like, oh my god, other people read Pendragon. I love Pendragon. But I actually have one of his series he came out with a few years ago, and I went to the signing ceremony of it. I actually got it signed by him, which was like super cool and exciting. And so I have that, and then I have the photo of me as a kid and him, the glare. I actually have a photo with me as a kid and him when I went to my first author book signing. So that's up there, because that's kind of like the first time I ever like went to an author's book signing, and it was like a super cool experience. And really from then on, I like fell in love with like books and like reading, and especially with fantasies in specific. Number 12 is show us your bookshelves. So I'm going to try and show you guys my bookshelves, and we're going to see how this goes, okay? So as you guys can see here, we have our fantasy. As you can see, that book's missing since they pulled it out. But we've got our Mistborns, Michael J. Sullivan, we have some Jim Butchers, George R. R. Martin, Terry Brooks, going all the way, and then some YA, and then some like random books. And if you go up here, we've got Brent Weeks, we have some more YA, we have Ruth Ware, V.E. Schwab, we have Ben Aronovich, and it just keeps going. There's like tons of authors on here. Up there, you see a lot of those books that are like single books. Those are books that like I've only had the first one in the series. There's my mass paperback collection, and then some of the horrors, and then some of the classics are up there. And then all the way up there is some of my like special editions. So I've got my Name of the Wind up there right now, but normally I would have a few other books. And then we also have a bunch of scripture. There's my Ernest Cline, Ready Player One special edition, and then The Children of Earth and Sky by Guy Gavriel Kay. That's one of my favorite books. So that is up there. And then we have got some Potchkis, and then we have more holy books, or more books of scripture. And then we finally have some Dan Browns all the way up there. So yeah, those are my bookshelves. Yeah, so those are pretty much my bookshelves. I'm sorry for the shakiness because I had a hand held it all the way through, so hope it wasn't too bad. And I know some of you are going to like lose your crap because they're not organized in a specific like fantasy genre, mystery genre, like, and I apologize for that. I just am kind of crazy and neurotic about this, and for some reason the disorganization of it brings me more joy than the organization of it. As well, I have probably like 50 or 60 books on my bookshelf, on my desk over here that I need to go back onto the bookshelf at some point, as well as a book haul that I need to film. So there is also a lot more books to go up there, and I will probably be doing a reorganization video, as I said, after this, in which case I'll be doing like a proper bookshelf tour. But until then, I hope you're okay with what I showed you, if it makes it into the video. Alright, so that was number 12, and then number 13 is Tag Someone. So before I let you guys go, thank John from Hey Yall Listen Up and Lady Jane from Lady Jane Books. Both of their channels will be down below. And then in addition to tagging, Manda Mae just started. Like, she's got like 3 or 4 videos up, but I really enjoy her energy. She's fantastic. Her bookshelves are like a massive wall behind her, and I really would like to get more into them. So if Manda Mae wants to do this, you are more welcome, Manda. My second tag will be Constance the Reader. Constance has some great bookish things going on. She's got her little bookshelf in the corner for videos, and I'd like to see more of that, so you're more than welcome to do this video. Next would be Jessica Jaime. Jessica Jaime just started as well. Her videos are fantastic, and she's got 1 up I think right now, and I really would like to see more, so please do if you like. And then as well, someone else I would like to tag is Attention! Exclamation point. Attention, I have not had a chance to watch a ton of your videos, but I've watched like 2 or 3, and I'm really liking the energy, and I see the massive wall of books behind you, so you are also, if you'd like, welcome to do this. And lastly, for my 5th tag, I would like to tag anyone who hasn't done the bookshelf tag video and would like to do it. I know that some of us have or have not been tagged and would like to do videos, so this is my open-armed invitation to y'all. If you want to do a video, if you want to do the bookshelf tag video and you haven't had a chance yet and you're waiting for someone to tag you, this is your tag. I'm tagging you, so please go ahead and do it. And that, I think, is all for everyone today. I'll be doing a book haul soon this week. I'll be doing some other cool recommendations / reviews that are coming up soon, so stay tuned. So glad for you all to join me, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.